Welcome back. We are now going to talk about one of the main integrations you'll be using with your Aweber account. And what you'll notice is that at the very top to the right, there is a link that says My Apps. That link will take you to all of the applications and online websites that will connect to Aweber and integrate into their service. Now, we are going to talk about that in a later video, but right now we want to talk about the connection between Aweber and one in particular, which is PayPal. And we can integrate into PayPal so that every time someone purchases something through our PayPal account, we can actually have that person added automatically to our email marketing list. And so in order to do that, we're going to click PayPal in order to get started. We'll then want to click Integrate with PayPal. We'll then want to click this Enable button. You'll then need to grant permission to Aweber inside of your PayPal account, and you're going to click Grant Permission. That will bring you back inside of Aweber, and you'll be required then to go through a few more steps. What you'll want to do is you'll want to go to the Instant Payment Notifications page inside of your PayPal account, just as the instructions say here. You're then going to click the Choose IPN Settings. PayPal will then require you to put in an instant notification settings notification URL. You'll then copy this notification URL, and then you will paste it in the box inside of PayPal. You will then click the Receive IPN Messages, and then you will click the Save button. Then inside of the PayPal integration, you're going to choose the list to add people to when they purchase a certain product. Now, because you're likely to create multiple products, you will probably want to check this box that says, I want to add people to different lists when they purchase specific items from my store. So go ahead and click this link. And then what you're going to do is you're going to choose the product, and then you're going to choose the list. Once you've done that, you are going to click the Add button. And then you will have an integration so that whenever a person purchases this product from you with your PayPal button, they will then be added to your Aweber list. And then every time you create a product, you'll want to come back to this integration and then continue to add products to different lists inside of Aweber. Okay, so with that, thanks, and I will see you in another video. It's quite possible that you are already working with a web service that is already connected to your autoresponder, or if you use Aweber, it's already connected. Now, in many cases, those integrations are direct. Affiliate networks, social media platforms, shopping carts, all of them have direct application and integrations with Aweber. However, in some cases, the integration is not as direct. And when that is the case, you'll see something like what we're about to showcase right now. For example, if we want to integrate GoToWebinar with Aweber, we would click this link. And we would find that this integration actually happens through a third-party company called Zapier. So to start this process with GoToWebinar in Aweber, just as we would do with any other app that uses Zapier, we click the Enable button. This will actually take us to the third-party site Zapier. Now, Zapier has both a free and paid account, and you'll have to determine how much you'll be using based on the pricing. But you'll be able to see the potential integrations with GoToWebinar as well as Aweber. For example, you can add GoToWebinar registrants to an Aweber mailing list. So in other words, someone signs up for your webinar, they get automatically added to your Aweber list. Someone signs up to your Aweber list, they get automatically added to your GoToWebinar. So you'll have to choose the integration that you actually want, and then you'll need to get started with Zapier. And in this particular case, Zapier says you'll need a GoToWebinar account active and an Aweber account. That's going to be the case with any integration you do. You're going to need access to the services that you're going to want to integrate. In this case, we're working with GoToWebinar and Aweber. We're going to click Create this Zap. Now, GoToWebinar and Aweber require a premium trigger. So at some point in your process, you are going to have to pay Zapier in order to have this trigger happen. But we're going to click Continue. Now Zapier is going to require that we log in to GoToWebinar. Now we'll come back to Zapier once we've logged in, and we're going to click Continue. Now you're going to have access to the account that you are now logged into, or you can connect a different GoToWebinar account. You want to click the test button to make sure that your account is actually working with Zapier. So go ahead and click the test button. You want to make sure that you have the green success button, and then you'll click Save and Continue. You'll then select a webinar and then click Continue. You'll then want to click Fetch and Continue. Once you click your test and you'll see that it's successful, you can then click Continue. So the Aweber action is going to be to create a subscriber. We're going to click Continue. We're going to test or connect an Aweber account and then click Save and Continue. So we've chosen our account. We've now chosen the list. And now what we want to do is to click Continue. So we want to test the system through Zapier. So we'll click Create and Continue. We've actually already added this email to the list, so we'll skip the rest of the test and then click Continue. Now because this is a premium service, Zapier is going to look for a payment at this point. You can pay monthly, or you can pay annually, or choose to upgrade your account in order to continue with the integration. Now this integration is premium through Zapier. In some cases, your integration will be direct. If you must have the integration, then Zapier will be the easiest way to have that integration done. And if not, and you want to just do it manually, you can do it that way. Okay, so with that, thanks, and I will see you in another video. Welcome back. We're now going to go to the Messages tab. We're going to go to the first tab, which is called Drafts. When we go to the Drafts tab, what you're going to notice is that you have a page where you can create a message and you can create a draft. Now, this screen will have all of the emails that you create inside of Aweber that have not been saved, added to broadcast, or added to follow-ups. So because Aweber auto-saves your email, you will be able to keep track of all of the emails that you are writing, and you'll be able to have them in this area. Now, in order to get started writing an email, what you're going to do inside of the draft button is you're going to click Create a Message. Now you have three choices. You can either click the drag and drop email builder, which is what you will use in most cases because this will send the most attractive emails. You can send an email by plain text if you have a specific reason as to wanting to send plain text emails to a certain list. Or you can also use the HTML editor if you know HTML extremely well. Now, because most entrepreneurs will be using the drag and drop editor, we're going to actually start with this builder. So let's click this link. Now, there are several elements that you want to be familiar with inside of the draft screen. The first you want to be familiar with is going to be the template box. We can actually use some of the pre-formatted templates that Aweber gives us in order to send out our email. Now, of course, we can change any of these templates to be what we want them to be if they suit our message. Now, if you want to write a plain message to your email marketing list, all you'll need to do is to click this plain tab. And indeed, this is the default setting. So you don't really even have to choose this template. You will actually have this template inside of your message writer by default. Now, if you want to use a different format, you can do that. You can use a center aligned format, or you can continue to use the left aligned format. Now, in order to get back to the writing screen, what we're going to do is we're going to click inside of this box. And that's going to bring us back to the Aweber screen. Now what we're going to do is we're going to take a look at all of the elements that we can actually add inside of our Aweber email. So we're going to start by writing a message, and we're going to edit it as we go along. So we have our content, and what we're going to do is we're going to put our cursor inside of the body, and we're going to cut and paste our text. Now that we have our text inside of our email, we can actually start editing this email so that it actually looks the way we want it to be. Now, one of the things that we're going to need to do is we're going to need to take out some of the titles. So now that we have our content inside of our email, let's take a look at some of the things that we can do. Now, we can always change the appearance of the text and make it larger for our client. And all we would need to do is to highlight the text, then change the size. We can make the size anything that we actually want within this box. So now that we have the text at the size that we actually want it, what we're going to do is we're going to personalize the email. Now, one of the things that you'll notice at the very beginning is that this email is going to be personalized. And it's being personalized with a common personalization code, which is first name fix. That means that Aweber will look at the code and it will try to determine the first name based on what's in the box. And this is actually a better code than just first name. It will look at all the available information and try to put the best fit for the first name. So in most cases, you will continue to use first name fix. However, you could use a different personalization code. And if that is the case, then what you do is you go to the personalize field, you pull the drop down menu and you choose one. For example, you could use the full name, or you could even use the last name. So whatever personalizes the email for your market and your niche, that is what you want to use in the personalization area. We're going to go ahead and take this information out. And one of the things you'll notice at the bottom here is that Aweber is auto-saving our email. But we do want to make sure that we put a title in here so that we'll know what we've actually worked on when we look in the draft area. Now, what we can do as we go along is we can actually preview and test the email to find out what our clients are actually going to see. Now, one other thing that we're going to do in this video is we're going to take a look at the background color of our email. Now, naturally, we have a white background because that is the default setting. However, you can change the background color. We can click that link and we can make that background color whatever we want. If we wanted it to be a little more gray, we could click apply. It's a very easy way of adding some kind of branding to what we're actually writing. We can actually go back to this background color and then click apply. And every time we go along, what we're going to do is we're going to click preview and test so that we can actually get a sense for how this email is going to look when it appears in the inbox of our client. Now what we're going to do is we're going to go back. We're going to continue to work on this email, and we're now going to click save. When we click save, you'll notice that the auto save number goes up by 1. And now we can continue adding things to this email. And we will do that when we come back in the next video. Okay, so with that, thanks, and I will see you in that next video.